Okay, I want to start this one a little differently today.
Oh,
Yeah, we usually just, jump right into the data, but I want to try a simulation. I want to run a thought experiment.
a simulation. Okay. I am game.
Listeners, I need you to do this too. Unless you are currently merging onto a freeway or operating a table saw.
In which case, please don't.
Right. Please keep your eyes open, but I want you to close your eyes for a second.
Mm.
We are going to
Mm.
mentally time travel. We are going back to 10th grade.
Oh, 10th grade. That is a distinct mental destination. I can already feel the anxiety spiking.
Right? It's visceral.
Yeah.
Picture the classroom. You can probably smell it, can't you?
Oh, absolutely.
That very specific institutional mix of floor wax, old textbooks, maybe a little bit of stale lunch from the cafeteria down the hall, and the distinct smell of pencil shavings.
Yep.
And you are sitting in one of those hard, unforgiving plastic chairs.
The ones that were somehow always cold and always snagged your sweater. I remember them well.
Exactly. The ergonomics of discomfort.
Yeah.
And sitting on the desk in front of you is a test. It's a big one. The one that determines your GPA, your college acceptance, your entire future. Or at least that's what it feels like in that moment.
My palms are sweating just thinking about it.
So here is the question for the simulation. In that specific moment, staring at that paper, what is the strategy to win?
To win.
And I want to be clear. I'm not asking what the strategy is to learn. I'm asking what the strategy is to get the A.
I think we all know the answer to that, even if we don't like to admit it. The strategy isn't to be innovative.
Yeah.
It isn't to come up with a new theory or challenge the premise. The strategy is precision compliance.
Precision compliance. Unpack that.
It means remembering exactly what the teacher said 3 days ago, remembering the specific phrasing they used, and then just writing it down in that exact order.
You're basically trying to become a human recording device.
That's it. It really is like a high-stakes game of Simon Says, isn't it? Except your GPA is on the line.
It is exactly Simon Says.
Think about biology. If Simon says the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, you write powerhouse. You don't write energy generator.
Even if it's correct.
Right. You don't write biological battery. Even if those are conceptually correct, they aren't what Simon said. If you deviate, you lose points. If you comply, you win. You're a good student.
And we got really good at that game. We spent 12, maybe 16 years mastering that game.
We did.
But here is where it gets really interesting and honestly a little scary. Does that game of precision compliance, actually prepare you for the world we are living in right now?
That is the million-dollar question, or maybe the billion-dollar question, because for a long time we just assumed the answer was yes. We assumed getting straight as meant you were smart and ready for the world.
But it's not that simple.
Not at all. Think about it. The second you leave school, the Simon Says dynamic just. It evaporates.
Totally. It's a rug pull.
It is. Your boss doesn't hand you a script on Monday morning and say, memorize this and repeat it back to me on Friday for a gold star.
No. They hand you a disaster. They hand you a break-in process or a crashing server or a marketing campaign that isn't converting, and they say, fix this.
And there is no answer key. There is no teacher's edition in the boss's desk. The rules might even change before you finish the project.
And that gap, that massive, terrifying chasm between the Simon Says game of school and the fix this mess reality of the career world, that is what we're unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a concept called AI, the feedback accelerator.
AI. It's the topic everyone is talking about, but usually not like this. We're looking at a synthesis of ideas from the 2026 Future of Education Technology Conference, specifically a keynote by Alana Winnick.
And just for everyone listening, that pronunciation is A-L-A Winnick.
Right. And Alana Winnick is a major voice in science and tech education. What I love about this source material is that it just cuts through all the noise.
I have to say, looking through the notes on this isn't your standard tech pep rally. We aren't just going to talk about how cool new tablets are or some new app that makes flashcards.
No, and it's also not the other side of the coin, which is that doom and gloom narrative.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually when we talk about AI in education, the headline is, the essay is dead. It's all panic. It's kids are cheating, robots are taking over, human intelligence is doomed.
Exactly. It's a fear-based reaction. But Alana Winnick's perspective, it flips that table completely.
How so?
The thesis here isn't that AI broke education. It's that AI exposed education.
Ooh. That's a spicy take.
Uh-huh.
Exposed it how?
It exposed that for a long time we haven't been measuring actual learning.
We've been measuring something else.
We have been measuring compliance. The argument is that AI is showing us that the game we've been playing in school is the wrong game.
Okay, let's unpack this game idea, because the source material draws a really fascinating distinction between two types of games,
Hmm.
the finite game and the infinite game.
This is a concept that originally comes from James Carse, but it applies so perfectly here. Think of a finite game. It has known players, fixed rules, and a clear endpoint.
Like a sport.
Exactly. Soccer is a finite game. You play for 90 minutes, there are rules everyone agrees on, you can't use your hands, and at the end, the whistle blows, and someone wins.
And someone loses.
Right. The purpose of playing a finite game is to bring it to an end, to declare a winner and go home.
And school, traditionally, is the ultimate finite game.
Precisely. The semester is the time limit. The syllabus is the rule book. The grade is the score. The goal is to get the A and win the class.
And once you get that grade,
The game is over. You stop thinking about Biology 101 the second you hand in the final exam.
I definitely did that. I did a massive brain dump the second I walked out of the exam room.
Yeah.
It was like formatting a hard drive.
We all did.
Yeah.
Because the game was over. Why would you keep playing?
Right.
But contrast that with the infinite game.
The infinite game.
In an infinite game, the goal isn't to win and stop. The goal is to keep playing. It's to keep learning, keep iterating, keep solving problems that are constantly evolving. Life is an infinite game.
Give me an example of that outside of the philosophical life concept.
Well, think about your career or marriage. You don't win marriage.
No.
You don't wake up after 20 years and say, okay, I won marriage, game over, I can stop trying now.
I mean, you can, but that usually leads to divorce.
Exactly. The purpose of the game is to keep the game going, to get better at playing it, to handle new challenges. And this is the disconnect. We are training kids for 12, 16 years to play a finite game, optimize for the grade, follow the rules, and the task, and then we throw them into the economy, which is an infinite game.
I love that framing. It really highlights why the transition to the real world feels so, I don't know, so violent for so many graduates.
It's the industrial model of education. We have to remember this system was designed for a factory era.
Right.
It was an assembly line. Everyone moves at the same speed. Everyone gets the same content. Everyone produces the exact same product.
And if you deviate from the product specs, if you color outside the lines or ask a question that isn't on the test, you're a defect.
You're a problem student. You are slowing down the line. And honestly, in a pre-internet, pre-AI world, that model sort of held together.
It worked for what it was.
It wasn't perfect. It crushed a lot of creativity, but it functioned as a sorting mechanism for the economy.
But then the glitch happened.
The glitch.
I love this terminology. It sounds like we're in the Matrix. Define the glitch for us in this context.
So Alana Winnick defines the glitch as the moment where school tasks stop resembling real-world requirements because of the sudden availability of external intelligence. AI. It's when the Simon Says game breaks because there is a machine that can play Simon Says better than any human ever could.
And this is where the cheating panic comes from, right?
Absolutely. This is where you get the screaming about plagiarism, because suddenly the things we used to ask students to do, which we thought demonstrated intelligence, are things a machine can do in seconds.
Let's look at this CER example from the notes. This really drove it home for me. CER stands for Claim, Evidence, Reasoning.
Right. It's a absolute staple in science classrooms. The teacher gives a prompt, maybe a data set about plant growth or chemical reactions.
Okay.
And the student has to make a claim, provide evidence from the text, and explain their reasoning. On paper, that sounds like a solid assignment. It sounds like critical thinking.
It does. I would have assumed that it requires a human brain to synthesize that information.
It used to, but now a student can copy that prompt, paste it into ChatGPT or Claude, and within 5 seconds, literally 5 seconds, they have a grammatically perfect, logically sound response.
Wow.
They turn it in, they get an A.
And the teacher feels like the student cheated. The system feels broken.
But here's the hard verdict from the source material, and this is where we have to be really honest with ourselves.
Okay.
If an A, I can solve the assignment perfectly, the problem isn't the tool. The problem is the assignment.
Wow. That is a hard pill to swallow if you are a teacher who has been using that assignment for 10 years.
It is painful. But think about it. If a chatbot can get an A, it means the task didn't actually require unique human thought.
It just required processing power.
That's all. It required organizing facts and following a syntax structure. And we have to accept that computers will always beat us at processing power.
So if we are grading students on their ability to act like a slow biological version of Wikipedia, we are setting them up to fail.
We are fighting a losing battle. And we're missing the point of what humans are actually good at.
Which is,
Humans are good at context. We are good at nuance. We are good at mess.
talking about mess reminds me of something from the notes about cooked data. It brought back a vivid memory for me.
Oh.
High school chemistry lab.
Oh, do tell. Everyone has a chemistry lab trauma story.
So true. You know the drill. You're mixing chemicals, trying to get a reaction. You have the goggles on. You feel like a scientist. And the textbook says, if you do this correctly, the liquid should turn a vibrant, beautiful blue.
Okay.
But my liquid, it turned a murky, sad, swamp water brown.
Classic.
And I remember this feeling of panic. I thought, I failed. Not just the experiment failed, but I am bad at science.
Right.
So what did we do? What did everyone do in that class?
You cooked the data.
We cooked the data.
Yeah.
We nudged the numbers. We wrote down that we observed a blue color. We wrote down the numbers that should have been there so we could get the grade.
The cooked data phenomenon, it's rampant, and it is the perfect example of the finite game mindset. You were optimizing for the product, the correct answer, rather than the process. You cared more about pleasing the teacher than understanding the reality.
Exactly. I wasn't learning chemistry. I was learning how to fake compliance.
But contrast that with the real world of science. If a professional scientist runs an experiment and it fails, if the liquid turns brown instead of blue, that is actually valuable.
Right. That's the discovery.
Nobody pays a scientist to tell them what is already in the textbook. That's worthless information. You get paid to figure out why the experiment failed. You get paid to analyze the error, to understand the mess.
Why is this brown? Did we contaminate the sample? Is there a variable we missed?
Exactly. So the glitch is basically showing us that school is demanding a polished, perfect product, the right answer, while the real world is desperate for people who can navigate the messy process of figuring things out.
Exactly. And that brings us to the shift we need to make. We have to move from policing the tool
To leveraging it, we need to move toward what the keynote calls authentic assessment.
authentic assessment.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like educational jargon, but let's ground it. What does that actually look like?
Well, first we have to acknowledge the cognitive dissonance we are currently creating.
Okay.
Think about the message we send students right now. In school, AI is banned. It's treated like contraband. It's like bringing a cheat sheet into an exam.
Put that away. That's cheating, academic dishonesty.
Right. But then that same student graduates, gets a job at a marketing firm or a software company, and their boss says, hey, why aren't you using AI to code this faster? Why aren't you using AI to summarize these meeting notes? You're being inefficient.
That is wild when you think about it. We punish them for efficiency on Tuesday, and then the workforce demands that same efficiency on Wednesday.
We are punishing the exact skills the modern world rewards. It creates a schizophrenic relationship with technology.
So what's the fix?
The new mantra has to be process over product.
Process over product. Okay.
We have to stop grading the final paper as the only thing that matters. Because honestly, I can write the final paper. If the final output is all we care about, the student is going to use AI to fake it.
Of course. Why wouldn't they? It's rational behavior in a finite game.
Exactly. So instead, we value the drafts. We value the thinking that got them there.
So questions they ask.
Yes, the questions they ask the AI. Value the revisions. Value the struggle.
This requires a whole new workflow, though. You can't just say, value the process and hope for the best. The notes describe a specific student workflow that uses AI as a feedback loop.
This is one of the most practical parts of Alana Winnick's keynote. It contrasts the old loop with the new loop.
Let's do the old loop first, the feedback autopsy.
I love that phrase, feedback autopsy. It's so grim, but so accurate.
It is.
Here's the old loop. The student turns in a paper on Friday. They feel good about it, or at least glad it's done.
Right, it's off their plate.
Then the teacher spends the entire weekend drowning in grading. They are bleeding red ink all over these papers. It takes hours. It ruins their Sunday.
And by the time they hand the papers back, maybe a week later, the class has already moved on. The student looks at the grade at the top.
Glances at maybe one comment.
And then trashes it.
Into the bin. The learning is dead on arrival. It's an autopsy of work that is already dead to the student. It doesn't help them improve. It just tells them how they died.
That is depressing.
Yeah.
But also totally true. I definitely did that. Oh, I got a B. Fine. Toss.
So the new loop flips this. It positions AI as a critic during the process, not a judge at the end.
How does that work? Make it concrete for me.
Okay, imagine a student writes a draft of a conclusion for that science lab. Instead of turning it in, they paste their work into a large language model ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever is approved.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is the crucial part, they don't say fix this.
Right, because fix this is just letting the AI do the work. That's outsourcing the thinking.
Exactly. Fix this is the finite game. Instead, the student uses a prompt like, analyze my evidence sentences. Do they mathematically support my claim based on the data table I've provided? Identify any logical inconsistencies.
Whoa, that is a heavy-duty prompt.
It is. And think about the cognitive load there. The student isn't asking the AI to think for them. They are asking the AI to check their logic.
It's like having a private tutor sitting right next to you.
A tireless, high-speed tutor who can say, hey, you said the reaction rate increased, but your numbers in row 3 show it stayed the same. Explain that.
Now, I can hear the skeptics yelling, but isn't that still cheating? They're getting help. They aren't finding the error themselves.
Well, is it cheating to ask a human tutor for feedback? Is it cheating to ask your mom to proofread your essay? Of course not. We've just demonized the tool because it's a machine. But the goal is learning, right? If the AI points out an error and the student has to go back and fix it, learning is happening.
And there's also the AI literacy aspect, right? Because the AI isn't always right.
This is huge. AI hallucinates. It makes mistakes. It might tell you your math is wrong when it's actually right. So the student can't just blindly accept the feedback.
They have to verify it.
They have to verify the verification. They have to be the editor-in-chief. They have to look at the AI's critique and say, actually, robot, you're wrong here. Or, oh, wait, good point. I missed that.
That's the real work.
That evaluation process, that is critical thinking. That is metacognition.
It actually sounds harder than just writing the paper.
It is. That's the point. It shifts the effort from low-level production, like just typing words, to high-level evaluation judging logic.
It empowers the student. They aren't just handing something over and praying for a good grade. They are refining it before it ever hits the teacher's desk.
Alona Winnick had a great quote about this. I don't want you to waste your time giving a child AI-generated feedback. Use that time to teach them how to get their own.
That's brilliant. Teach them to fish, don't just buy them a fish sandwich.
Exactly. And think about the workforce application. If you are a project manager, you don't just accept reports from your team blindly. You critique them. You look for holes. This workflow teaches students to be that manager.
Okay, so if the students are doing all this self-editing with the AI, what is the teacher doing?
The fear of obsolescence.
Yeah.
If the robot is giving feedback, do I just sit here and drink coffee?
I mean, it sounds nice, but I assume that's not the goal.
No. The goal is reclaiming time. And we have to look at the burnout stat to understand why this is so urgent. The keynote cites a McKinsey study from 2020. It found that teachers spend only 49% of their time actually in front of students.
Wait, hold on. Less than half.
Less than half. 49%. The other 51% is lost. It's gone to grading, data entry, paperwork, prep.
That is staggering. We have these highly trained humans, experts in their fields, people who got into this to work with kids, and we're using them as data entry clerks.
That's it. Imagine a science teacher trying to decipher 150 handwritten lab reports, trying to manually spot patterns in student errors. It's exhausting, and honestly, it's inefficient. You get sloppy after the 50th paper.
So how does AI fix the teacher's workflow?
By acting as a pattern spotter.
Okay, walk me through that.
So, take those exit tickets, the little slips where students write down what they learned that day.
Sure.
Or take those 150 digital lab conclusions. Instead of reading them one by one to find themes, the teacher inputs the anonymized data into the AI.
And ask.
The prompt would be something like, identify the top 3 misconceptions in these responses, group them by theme, and provide examples.
And the AI just spits that out in seconds.
Instant actionable intelligence. Teacher, 40% of your class is confusing velocity with acceleration. Here are 3 examples of that error. Or, teacher, a third of the class failed to convert units.
That is a game changer. Because now you don't have to wait until you've graded everything to know the class is lost.
Right. You can walk in the next morning and say, hey, everyone, I notice a lot of us are tripping up on unit conversions. We're going to spend the first 10 minutes reviewing that.
That's what the notes call high-leverage energy expenditure.
Yes. It's not about being lazy. It's about directing your limited energy to the things that actually impact learning. If you aren't spending your weekend being a spell checker, you can spend your class time being a mentor.
This is the rehumanizing the classroom idea.
Exactly. We outsource the robot work, the data processing, the consistency checks to the actual robots.
And that frees the teacher up to do the human work.
The human work,
Yeah.
which is relationships, empathy, looking a kid in the eye and asking, why did you choose this variable? What excites you about this? A, I can't do that. A, I can't care about the student.
So we stop forcing teachers to act like robots and let them be humans again.
Precisely. But, and there's a big warning here from the outline, we have to avoid the efficiency trap.
Oh, I like a good trap warning. What is the efficiency trap?
It's the danger of using AI to make bad pedagogy faster.
Ah, like I can grade these boring rote worksheets 10 times faster now.
Right. Imagine a teacher says, wow, ChatGPT is amazing. I can use it to generate 100 multiple choice questions about dates and names in history, and then I can use it to grade them instantly.
That sounds efficient.
It is efficient, but it's efficiently terrible. You are just doing the wrong thing faster. You are doubling down on the Simon Says game.
You're just creating more busy work.
Exactly. If you use AI to generate more multiple choice tests or to grade compliance-based assignments at warp speed, you haven't improved education. You've just hit the fast forward button on the finite game.
You're putting a turbo engine on a car that is driving off a cliff.
That is the visual. You are automating mediocrity. We need to distinguish between automation and acceleration.
Break that down.
Automation replaces the human. It takes the human out of the loop to do the same old task. Acceleration elevates the human. It gives the human better data so they can make better decisions.
So we want acceleration.
We want acceleration. We want the teacher to know more about their students' thinking, not just grade more papers.
This all circles back to the listener. We've been talking about schools and teachers, but this applies to everyone, doesn't it?
It applies to every single knowledge worker. Engineers, marketers, managers. The question is, what defines a winner in this new infinite game?
It's not remembering facts anymore. The machine has the facts.
No, the machine will always win on facts. It will always win on syntax. So the human value shifts. It shifts to curiosity. It shifts to creativity. It shifts to the ability to ask a better question.
That's a big shift. We used to value the person with the answers. Now we value the person with the questions.
If the AI can answer any question, the value shifts to the person who knows which question to ask. It shifts from the calculation to the hypothesis.
So here's the challenge for you listening right now. Whether you are in a classroom or a boardroom, are you playing the finite game or the infinite game with your tools?
That's the check-in. When you use AI, are you just saying, write this email for me so you can check a box?
That's the finite game.
That is. You're automating your own mediocrity. You're making yourself replaceable.
Or are you playing the infinite game? Are you pasting your strategy into the AI and saying, roast this, find the holes in my logic, tell me what I missed, pretend you are my biggest competitor and tear this apart?
That is accelerating excellence. That is using the tool to make yourself better, not just faster.
It's about inviting the critic into the room because you want to win the future, not just finish the task.
And I want to leave everyone with the final metaphor from Alana Winnick's keynote because it's just perfect. She talks about the controller.
The controller.
Imagine a video game controller sitting on the table in front of you. It's right there. The cord is unplugged.
Okay.
Too often, we talk about AI like we are victims in a movie. Oh no, the robots are coming. They're going to take our jobs. They're going to ruin our kids. We act like NPCs, non-player characters.
We act like we're just part of the background code.
We're just watching the cutscene happen to us. But Winnick's point is, we are not the victims. We are the players. And we are the designers. The controller is right there.
We get to pick it up.
We get to decide how this game is played. We get to decide if we use this tech to cheat on the finite game or if we use it to level up in the infinite game.
That is such an empowering place to end. The question isn't whether AI is good or bad. The question is whether you are willing to pick up the controller.
Stop playing to win the semester. Start playing to win the task. Start playing to win the future.
And on that note, keep thinking. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
See you then.